cataract surgeons are familiar with this situation, where there is a smooth sailing of a routine cataract surgery until that dreaded moment, when the vitreous is seen prolapsing through a posterior capsule rupture. From that moment on, our heart goes into an overdrive and panic rules our mind. And here is where we decide which road to take in the management of this crisis. For us, this prolapsing vitreous is a deadly enemy that we need to destroy by removing it from where it does not belong in the anterior segment. So, we usually resort to anterior vitrectomy performed through the limbal approach, because that is how we are most comfortable dealing with our cataract or vitreous from above, what we call the top-down approach. For example, as you can see here, when the surgeon encounters a posterior capsule rupture, he performs an adequate vitrectomy using triamcinolone as a guide. But notice how the original tear has enlarged from what it was. More often than not, what begins as a small breach ends up being a huge rent. This results in an insufficient posterior capsule support for in-the-bag IOL implantation. In these circumstances, sulcus fixation, though less desirable, has to become an acceptable option. But have you thought of why this tear blows out? When we perform anterior vitrectomy from the limbal route, we are attacking the prolapsed vitreous from above. Now this vitreous is still attached to the central vitreous body below the tear. So even with a high cut rate, the aspiration forces cause a drag on the larger vitreous volume lying underneath the posterior capsule. This super slow motion video captured by high-speed photography shows very effectively how the turbulence in the anterior chamber and the upward drag of the central vitreous body is too much of an onslaught. These forces extend the fragile margins of the tear in the blink of an eye. Additionally, this can also cause traction on the vitreous base and the macula, with a sequelae that can be more serious. But the real question is there any other way we could have ensured an adequate vitrectomy without compromising the original tear? Yes, there is another way. This road takes us to the vitreous through the pars plana. As we all know, the vitreoretinal surgeons always use this approach. But for most of us, the cataract surgeons, this is an unfamiliar territory and hence intimidating. But for all of us, back fixation of an IOL is the baseline goal of a successful cataract surgery. So let us understand why the pars plana approach serves our purpose better. When we manage the prolapsed vitreous from below, we are essentially draining a smaller volume of the vitreous through the PC tear. This downward drain also causes less turbulence and less pressure on the posterior capsule. And it is this which keeps the tear margins more stable. For easier understanding, look at this illustration. Imagine that the red wool is a prolapsed vitreous in the anterior chamber. When pulled from below, it slips back without causing any tear enlargement. But when that same vitreous is pulled from above, a larger volume of the vitreous body lying underneath is dragged upwards. The result, as you can see here, is a huge irregular extension of the original small tear. We cannot forget that our main target is to prevent any further extension of the PC tear during vitrectomy. If we can achieve this, we can convert this tear into a posterior capsular excess. And this would then allow us to proceed with our goal, a stable, in-the-bag IOL implantation. So, with all these advantages of the pars plana approach, how do we, the cataract surgeons, actually go about adopting this path? Well, the best part is that it does not need any such elaborate instrumentation. All that we need is to have a trocar cannula and a minimum 23 gauge vitractor. The trocar cannula is entered through the conjunctiva in a biplanar fashion. The initial entry is made at a slant and then made perpendicular. The vitractor is introduced through this cannula and the irrigation handpiece through the original limbal paracentesis. Placing the vitractor below the PC tear, vitrectomy is performed using the highest cut rate the machine offers with modest aspiration parameters. Friends, we know that every cataract surgeon prefers to remain in their familiar comfort zone of the anterior segment. So then, why is it so important for us to attempt this pars plana approach? Well, the single most compelling reason for taking this unfamiliar road is that the vitreous prolapse through a PC tear is a threat to the outcome of cataract surgery. And the pars plana approach can prevent further enlargement of that tear. Hence, we believe that it is all about our mindset and a willingness to take the road less traveled. And that is all that is necessary to make a significant difference to the outcome of this crisis.